Hello, welcome to the Law Show today. I want to thank all of you who have religiously watched our videos on the Law Show, particularly the show on how to sue medical doctors for negligence. Now, that one has got lots and lots of views. I want to thank those of you who watched, and also the questions that came in and your comments. We appreciate that. Now, as a result of that, we're going to do a follow-up based on some of the questions and comments that people have asked. We're going to do today four ways to discipline a negligent medical doctor. 4 ways to discipline a negligent medical doctor. I want you to stay tuned, don't go away. I'll be right back, and then we're going to do this episode. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
For more exciting, educative, and entertaining programs such as Law and You, Talk Politics, Entertainment Gist, Relationship Talk, and other programs, keep watching Pinnacle TV. You can watch, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pinnacle TV Online. You can also visit our website at www.pinnacletv.com. Follow us on Facebook at Pinnacle TV Online or call us on 081-546-99989. Pinnacle TV, top quality broadcasting.
So we're looking at 4 ways to discipline a negligent medical doctor. And by the way, if you have not subscribed to Pinnacle TV YouTube channel, please, you need to subscribe and share our videos and click the notification bell. By the way, subscription is absolutely free of charge. You don't pay anything. Some people have asked, how much does it cost us? Will I be renewing my subscription every month? No, it's a once for all time. You see the red subscription button, you click it, then you click the notification bell and probably share the videos, and you are good to go. So, what are the 4 ways to discipline a negligent medical doctor? Now, first of all, what is negligence? Because it's important we understand the basis on which we're having this discussion. What is negligence in terms of a medical doctor? Now, number one, there are 3 ingredients of negligence. First is the duty of care. That's number 1 ingredient, the duty of care, as we lawyers will call it. There's a breach of that duty of care. And number 3, damage. By duty of care, we mean every doctor that you go to for treatment of whatever kind, either brain surgery, from simple malaria, simple fever, whatever it is, owes you a duty to care for you using the best skill possible in his field. Okay? So every doctor has a duty to use best skill or reasonable skill that the reasonably qualified medical doctor should possess. So that's a duty every doctor owes. He should treat you in a way. When I mean treat you, I don't just mean his relationship with you. I also mean how he administers medication to you, how he sort of diagnoses your ailment, etc. He should, be up to standard. Okay, I'm trying to use non-technical language now to break down the technical language of what is called the duty of care. So every doctor owes the patient a duty of care, whether he's being paid $1 million or he's doing it free of charge. It doesn't matter. Once he assumes a sick person or somebody in need of medical attention as his patient, he has to conform to the standard of care expected of a reasonable medical doctor. Okay, so that's number 1, duty of care. It's important you know that, duty of care. Number 2, the breach of that duty by the medical doctor. How does this breach of care occur? When the medical doctor treats a patient in less than the expected standard. Okay, so when the medical doctor treats a patient with less than the expected skill, less than the expected attention, less than the expected judgment, he said to have breached that duty. In other words, not conforming with the duty he owes the patient, that's a breach of duty. So first, duty of care of a doctor to apply or live up to a certain standard, a standard of a reasonably qualified medical doctor. 2, breach of that duty, i.e. not performing up to the expected standard. And 3, he causes the patient some damage. So these are the 3 ingredients of negligence. Once these 3 ingredients are complete, the doctor is said to be a negligent medical doctor. It doesn't matter whether he's a professor. It doesn't matter whether he's a consultant. It doesn't matter whether he's the biggest doctor around. Once he falls into these 3 categories, he has a duty, he breaches that duty, and his breach of that duty causes the patient damage. It could be damage, it could be loss of life, loss of limb, not recuperating as and when he ought to recuperate, etc., etc. So once this 3 is complete, the doctor is negligent. Now, what are the ways that you can discipline the medical doctor who is negligent? The ways to discipline a medical doctor who is negligent, we are looking at 4 ways. Now, there could be more than 4, but in this video, this short video, I want us to look at 4 ways. Number 1 way to discipline a medical doctor who is negligent, and his negligence causes you some damage. Number 1, report him to the police for criminal prosecution. That's number 1. Now, many people don't do this because maybe they don't know they have that opportunity to do it. There's, for example, if a negligent doctor causes death by his negligence, that's a criminal offense. That's a criminal offense. Now, it could be either murder if he was intentional in doing it, like the doctor that they talked about who was treating a baby, and the baby was not responding, and he became very exasperated, and he just strangled the baby. He just strangled the baby. So that one is murder. Or he didn't mean to kill, but he actually killed. That's manslaughter. That's manslaughter. Okay, Nigerian law, manslaughter. So, and these are offenses investigatable by the police. Another one that could result is endangering life. Endangering life. That's also a criminal offense. Assault. A doctor who negligently performs an operation either without consent or beyond consent. Okay? Either without consent or beyond consent. Okay? That on its own is also a criminal act. A criminal act for which he ought to be reported by the police and prosecuted. So, number 1 way to discipline a negligent medical doctor is to report such a doctor to the police for prosecution. Prosecution. The police will use their resources to gather evidence. Because, frankly speaking, a lot of doctors do all kinds of things. All kinds of things. Remember years ago, there was a girl who told me about how she was ill, and, she was really, really ill, so she was taken to a medical facility, and she was given some medication which caused her to sleep off. And she had a long, deep sleep. And then she woke up in the middle of the night to find a man on top of her. Just doing his thing on top of her. He had undressed her, and he was on top of her doing his thing. You know what I mean? Having sexual intercourse. And she looked at him and found out it was the doctor. The doctor who was treating her was right on top of her in her illness. Of course, when she, raised the alarm, he closed her mouth and, told her, don't report. I'm just going to, I'm going to, I beg, please don't report. That sort of thing. So that's rape. That's rape. That's criminal. So such a doctor deserves to be prosecuted. Seriously, prosecuted. So that's number one. Number one way, report to the police. Report to the police. Do not shy away, because until we begin to take action against doctors, they will not rise up. They will not see that, you know, the rate at which people die due to their negligence deserves some attention. So that's number one. Number one, report to the police. Number two way to discipline a negligent medical doctor. Number two way. We've talked about negligence being every doctor owes you a duty of care, duty of care for you. If he breaches that duty and his breach of that duty causes you damage, is negligent. Now, the second way to discipline such a doctor is to file a civil lawsuit against that doctor. Okay? You file a civil lawsuit against that doctor. Now, we've talked about how to sue a doctor. We talked about it extensively in one of our videos. So you can look for that video and you can watch it, you know, and sort of juxtapose the discussion there, the points we raised there with the points here. But, you know, I'm sure you'll be glad you did, because they are quite valid points. So, second way to discipline a negligent medical doctor is by suing such a doctor. And, you know, there are you know, a whole gamut of courts that have jurisdiction over such a doctor, from magistrate courts to high courts, even to the federal high court. If it's a federal medical facility, the doctor is an agent of the federal government. He works for a federal medical facility like any of the university teaching hospitals, you know, that are affiliated or that are funded by the federal government. So you go to the federal high court to do that. But if it's purely a matter of just a tort, then you want to look at the jurisdiction of the state high court or the magistrate courts. Okay, so you file a civil suit against that doctor. Now, in filing a civil suit, you could make your claim if there's been a breach of the right to life, i.e. someone has died, then you could be suing that doctor either in millions or in hundreds of millions. You want to look at, you know, loss of expectation of life, loss of expectation of earnings. You want to look at what the death of that person had, the economic impact on the family or you as a dependent, and file the suit. Or if it's a loss of limb, maybe somebody has lost the use of his hand or his leg or eye or any part of it, then you want to sue appropriately. You want to claim compensation appropriately, because the courts will be ready to award you compensation provided you prove your case. Okay? And as I told you before, the first ingredient you need to prove is that the doctor has a duty of care which he has breached. So you need to establish, how did the doctor breach that duty of care? That's important. How did he breach the duty of care? You know, was he not attentive? Did he leave you, you know, without giving the appropriate medication? Or did he not supervise properly the medication that you were being given? Yeah, I heard the story of, okay, I'm going to, most of the stories are very, very, very painful stories, but we're going to talk about them all anyway. A woman who just had a baby, postnatal, went to the hospital for checkup, and then the doctor wrote some prescription for her, and then she went to the pharmacy. And at the pharmacy, they were asking everybody, okay, just drop your card and go and sit down. We're going to, you know, give you, we'll put it together and call you. So they started calling them one after the other, and then they called this lady and gave her, you know, her, medication in a small bag, which of course she took back and, you know, met another doctor who somehow looked at it and was like, who gave you all of this? And he said, oh, the doctor prescribed them for me. He said, no, these are not medication for a woman who just, you know, who just had a baby. So don't take any of them. Don't take any of them. You know, all these medication were just for some other ailment. Some other ailment. So apparently, at the pharmacy, they had switched, you know, their prescriptions. They'd given her the prescription for someone else and giving her prescription to someone else. So that other person had taken the prescription for a woman who just had a baby, and that person had taken it home and gone to consume that medication. You know, why, you know, only God knows, only God just knows. So, but these things are things that we have to be proactive. Now, when I talk about disciplining medical doctors, I need you to understand that it also includes the medical staff that work in the hospitals. It also includes the hospital. It's not just the doctor. So we have the doctors, we have their staff. Because both these doctors, the staff, and a hospital are all subject to the same rules. They are all subject to the same standard. Anybody who works in a hospital must conform with the standard of the hospital, must conform with the standard of the law. You can't say, oh, I'm just a nurse. You know, so all those nurses who are always shouting at women, they giving birth and yelling at them, I may give you belly, you know, all those sort of things, you know, it's and it traumatizes the woman. You can be sued for that. You can actually be sued for that. So that's the second one. File a civil, you know, lawsuit for negligence. You can file a civil lawsuit for battery against the doctor. If the doctor, for example, had either cut off an organ that you didn't go there for. I mean, there are people who have gone to the you know, hospital to remove, you know, one kidney, left side kidney, and then the doctors, because that kidney is damaged, and then the doctors end up removing the right kidney, the good one. You know, I mean, just all kinds of things. You can imagine somebody's gone to the hospital, it's okay, I've got 2 kidneys, one is bad, you know, it's the left one, can you remove it? And the doctors end up removing the good one on the other side. You know, so these are some of the things. They can be sued for battery. You know, that's battery. Okay, so that's the second way to discipline a negligent medical doctor. We'll now look at number 3. Number 3. Let's use this camera. Number 3. This is a good one. You write a petition to the Medical and Dental Practitioners Council of Nigeria. Medical and Dental Practitioners Council of Nigeria. Okay? Now, all doctors, all medical and dental practitioners in Nigeria have an organization called the Medical and Dental Practitioners Council, MDCN. Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, Medical and Dental Council, something like that. MDCN. The headquarters is in Abuja. Medical and Dental Council House is in plot 1102 off Oladipo Dia Road in Kwara District in Garki, Abuja. Okay, so if you need the details, you can of course call the number for Pinnacle TV, and I'm sure someone will answer and give it to you. But they have a website, www.mdcn.gov.ng. So you can Google their website, go to their visit their website, get their details, and any medical or dental practitioner who is negligent, you can, because negligence is not only a crime, it's not only a civil wrong, a tort for which it can be sued in the court. It's also an act of misconduct or gross misconduct by the doctor. You know, so the organization regulates doctors, expects them to live up to, you know, a certain level of expectation. And when they fall below the expectation of the reasonable doctor, of the qualified doctor, then this organization has the powers to either strike a doctor's name off from the list of doctors, you know, take his license, actually remove his license, that's number 1, or suspend him from practicing as a doctor, number 2, or they can put restrictions on his practice, you know, or etc., etc. So that's something, number 3, I would ask you to, you know, to take seriously. Write a petition against any doctor whom you perceive as being negligent to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. All right. Now, the procedure usually is, if you write such a petition, they will look at it, and if there is some basis of it, they will send it to a Medical and Dental Practitioners Investigation Panel. So they have a panel that conducts investigation, who will ask you, you know, to furnish more evidence. They will ask you to put your statement, you know, go and swear it on oath, so that they will believe you, they will know what you are saying, you are not just lying. So you do all of that, then they will also send it to the doctor to put his own on oath, you know, so that if they catch him lying too, they can deal with him seriously. Okay, and after that, they can schedule, you know, a hearing, a formal hearing, like a court hearing, you know, but it's not a court, it's a tribunal. So you can go there and testify against that doctor, you know. So some of these things are things that are done, you know, abroad, and because of the fear of going before those panels, doctors abroad take, you know, they take people's life, they take people's health, they take people's welfare seriously. But in Nigeria, people will say, oh, don't leave it for God. Pastor will say, leave it for God. Thank God you are alive. Let's pray. Let's thank God. Let's pray against it happening again. You know, it's the devil. It's one witch. It's one this or one that is causing it. You know, but so doctors continue to, you know, basically to, you know, maim and murder people at will. But we need to understand that the third thing you can do is you can actually write a petition against a doctor to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, and it will be properly investigated. All right? Okay, I will take a short break and I will come back. But if you have not subscribed to Pinnacle TV Online YouTube channel, you need to subscribe. We need your subscription. Share our videos, comment on our videos, and let us know that, you know, you are part of this discussion. And I'll be right back. Don't go away. 24 hours, 7 days a week. You can find your favorite program, Law and You, only on Pinnacle TV. We're looking at 4 ways to discipline a negligent medical doctor. Now, we've talked about number 1, we can report to police and file a criminal case. We talked about number 2, file a civil lawsuit against that doctor. Number 3, write a petition to the Medical and Dental Practitioners Council, MDCN, Medical and Dental Practitioners Council of Nigeria. You know, we said that the office is in Abuja, and you should, you know, always think of that option. Now, number 4 is to use social media. Okay? Now, you have social media. If you are watching this, obviously, it means that you either have a social media handle or you are on YouTube. You know, you can complain about the action of a particular medical doctor or medical facility, or even a staff of a medical facility on social media. Okay, now that's not hate bill. That's not hate speech or defamation of character. No. As long as what you are saying is correct, you have every right to go on social media and tell people, this hospital, that doctor, beware of him. Look at what he did. Look at what he did. He's done this, he's done this, he's done that. Now, that is perfectly consistent with your right to freedom of expression. Okay? That's perfectly consistent with your right to freedom of expression. So, this is another way that we can actually, you know, checkmate the activities of unscrupulous and negligent medical doctors. Now, don't get me wrong. Not all doctors are negligent. Some are very good. Some do their jobs. But most doctors in Nigeria couldn't care a hoot about their patients. Okay, so those are the ones that really give the medical profession a bad name, and it is my humble submission that you need to adopt, if you come across such a doctor, any of these four ways. 1, criminal case report to police. 2, get a lawyer and file a civil lawsuit. 3, petition to the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria. Or 4, adopt publicity. Let social media know about that doctor so that people can be wise and move away from that medical facility or hospital. Okay, so that's how it's been today on 4 ways to discipline a medical doctor. If you like this video, please share it. Give us a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give us a thumbs down so that we will know you don't like it. But whichever way, interact with us. Thank you. 24 hours, 7 days a week.
For more exciting, educative, and entertaining programs such as Law and You, Talk Politics, Entertainment Gist, Relationship Talk, and other programs, keep watching Pinnacle TV. You can watch, like, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Pinnacle TV Online. You can also visit our website at www.pinnacletv.com. Follow us on Facebook at Pinnacle TV Online.